system, so we're on the same page. You understand the methods that we use and the way we go through a task 2 essay, okay? Then we're going to write it live. First, we're going to brainstorm together, we're going to write it together, and we're going to check it together, okay? So that's exactly what we're going to do here. And starting with just getting on the same page, I want to show you guys how we view a task 2 essay, okay? We aim for 250 to 300 words. 280 is like the sweet spot. And I just want to say that because if you get over 300 words, that's where students are maybe being too wordy and starting to make mistakes. So you want to aim for that range. And then you see on the screen there, it says 10 to 15 words per line. That's just how we count, or how we recommend our students to count. So you don't waste time on the writing test, like counting each word. So most people write 10 to 15 words per line, or they type, 10 to 15 words per line. So you can just quickly count the lines, and that's how you count your word count. So yeah, that's what that is. Of course, as most of you know, spend 20 minutes on task 1, 40 minutes on task 2. That's what we recommend as well. And then we break it down into 3 steps. First, you plan, you write, and you check. Most of these strategies are pretty common. You're probably familiar with them. We aim for 5 minutes of planning, 30 minutes of writing, and then 5 minutes for checking. We're going to spend longer than that today, but when you go in the test and you do this, that is your time management for the test, okay? So, essay and template types. So there's a lot of different strategies online as far as deciding, this question is this type of essay. And this is just how we do it. We view every single task 2 question as one of these, okay? So no matter what the question is for IELTS, it's going to either be number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4, okay? The first one there is the argument essay. I think some people might call that a discussion essay. We call it an argument essay. It's just a question that gives you 2 sides where you have to talk about your side and the other side, okay? So that's an argument essay. Number 2 there is an opinion essay, and those are questions where they ask for your opinion, and you're going to just be writing about one side, which is your side, all right? And number 3 there is what we're doing today. It's a problem solution essay, or it could be a causes and solutions, or effects and solutions, or just solutions, okay? And that's what we're doing today. Then there's another one that's more rare. It's a mixed, and usually it's asking for the effects of a problem and your opinion on it, okay? And out of all these essays, the most common is number 1 and number 2. Very rarely will you see number 3 and number 4. So 1 and 2 is mostly what you're going to do. 3 and 4 is a lot more rare. And we're going to go over number 3 today. Now, you see the word up there, template. So this is part of our system. We don't just have our students try to just write the essay all from memory. We teach templates, and you're going to see these templates before we actually write. So don't worry if it doesn't make sense right now. It's going to make sense. But we have specific templates for each argument type, and you're going to see that here today. That's a big part of our strategy. And specifically, what I said in the beginning, anybody who's below a level 7 should follow our templates word for word, okay? If you're above a level 7, you have enough skill to kind of know how to modify the template to fit what you're trying to say. So, feel free to do that. But again, if you're under level 7, stick to this because it's going to get you a level 7, okay? So let's go. You're going to see the template soon. One more thing before we look at brainstorming and template strategy. I want to point out about the templates, okay? You're writing this essay not for yourself or for a friend. You are writing this essay for the examiner, okay? So as you all probably know, they have a grading chart that is public information. Now, what you see on your screen here is what they want for a level 7 or higher. So you want to make sure you give them all of that in your essay. And our template makes this a lot easier for you, okay? for task, response, and coherence and cohesion, our template does all of that by itself. It does benefit your vocabulary. There's some high-level words in there, but grammar is going to be on you, okay? So the template, look at task response. The templates you're going to see, they help you answer all parts of the question. They help you give clear, strong opinions. They have a place for details and examples, and the whole template together connects everything, all your ideas to the question. So by using a template, you're automatically at least a level 7 in task response. Now, coherence and cohesion, the template has high-level transitions and pronouns. No repeated ideas. That's easy enough for people to not do. And the template also logically organizes your ideas in the paragraphs and makes it easy to read. So just by memorizing a template and executing that template on test day, you already have at least a level 7 in task response and coherence and cohesion. And you also get a boost in your lexical resources or vocabulary because you're going to see there's some high level, less common words in there. And like I said, again, grammar, that's on your skill. You have to make sure for a level 7 that you have many perfect sentences. And for a level 8, you need mostly perfect sentences and you use a variety of sentence structures. So none of this should be new to most of you, okay? But I just want to point out the benefit of the templates, okay? So just so you guys know ahead of time, this is the example question that we're going to do today. So please read this as I go through how to brainstorm, show you our templates. And then when we get into the writing, you already have the question in your head so you can kind of think of things as we go along. So make sure you read this. Many people these days have large credit card debt. What are the causes of this? And what are some possible solutions? Okay. So that's the question we're going to do today. Now, on brainstorming, the way we brainstorm is specifically only for the body paragraphs. You're going to see that the introduction and the conclusion, you don't really need a brainstorm for using the template system. Okay. So brainstorming, your 5 minutes of planning before you write is all about the body paragraphs, paragraphs 2 and paragraphs 3. So when you're brainstorming, you're only going to write down enough information for the body paragraphs. Okay. And you're going to be writing in notation, which is just write enough so that you understand it, right? The brainstorm is not for somebody else. So you don't need to waste your time writing full sentences. You just need to write so that you know what it means. And so you need to come up with a process where you do that as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Okay. And don't worry, you're going to see all this when we do it. So if anything is unclear, you will see it. Okay. Now, in the middle there, you see in bold, it says topic, cause, effect, solution 1, and so on. That is the logical flow of information in our body paragraphs. Okay. So that you have the template, which you memorize and you write down, and then you just plug in that information in that order, which you are going to be putting in the brainstorm. So when it comes time to write, you've done the brainstorm, you know the content that will go into the template. So as you can imagine, that makes it very easy to write an essay, very quick, very efficient. Don't worry, you're going to see it live if that's confusing. And then the last note there, no bad ideas, okay? When you're brainstorming, you don't need to waste time thinking like, do I like this idea, right? Don't get married to these ideas because you're not going to know the topic beforehand. Of course, you practice and you prepare a lot of different topics so that you're ready. But a lot of students, they have problems coming up with ideas for everything. Your ideas only need to be logical and believable, okay? Don't get married to ideas, okay? Just make sure, okay, is this idea logical? Does it make sense? Can I write about it? And is it And the first blank there, remember, that is going to be the history of the problem. Okay. So that's the first sentence. So prior to this problem, the history of this problem, it was like this. And today, however, it's like this, the problem today. And then you're going to need a thesis statement. Luckily, in this template, the thesis statement is already done common. Maybe there's, what do you think, Instructor Liam? Is there something that sounds
Yeah.
more native?
Right. Yeah, I think we can stress on the fact that credit card like didn't even exist, right? So I guess we can say credit card debt was unheard of.
That's great. Was unheard of. Was unheard of. Yeah, you hear about it, it exists. So that's kind of idiomatic, unheard of. So prior to the proliferation of Visa and MasterCard, shoppers used cash or checks, and credit card debt was unheard of. Great sentence there. We've got prior, very uncommon word. It means pretty much before something. Then we have proliferation. Excellent, very uncommon word. We've shown Visa and MasterCard, we don't have to steal from the task question. We know some parallel expressions. And boom, shoppers.
Yeah,
You know,
and by the way, right there, I think we can add something that would show our grammar a bit, like a relative clause. So we can add like when, prior to the proliferation of Visa and MasterCard, when shoppers used cash or checks, right?
oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so yeah, used is also kind of low level. So this is something maybe we missed. So shoppers had to use a great word, utilize. Shoppers had to utilize cash or checks. Boom, that's great. And credit card debt was unheard of. Okay, that is a great sentence. Look, prior, proliferation, Visa, MasterCard, shoppers, utilize. Great sentence and unheard of. Excellent. So, oh, prior to the proliferation of Visa and MasterCard, when shoppers had to utilize cash or checks, credit card debt was unheard of. Okay, sorry about that. There we go. Perfect. Today, however, now we're getting into the problem today. Okay. So we already said before it was like this. Credit card debt was unheard of. People use cash and checks. Today, however, what do we have for the problem today?
Okay, problem today. Well, speaking from my personal experience, I don't see a lot of Vietnamese uh, using credit cards in general. You know, as a Vietnamese myself, I don't own a credit card. So, with that being said, I think it's a it's a popular thing for Westerners to have credit cards and to buy things using credit cards.
Okay.
And yeah, and people tend to spend a lot on the credit cards, so they end up owing money to these companies pretty much.
Okay. So you said today, however, it's normal for Westerners to owe a lot of money to the credit to these companies. Okay. So we just got the idea there very simply. So today, however, it is normal for Westerners to owe a lot of money to these companies. Okay. So that shouldn't be blue. Today, however, it is normal for Westerners to owe a lot of money to these companies. Okay. Now let's make that, let's make that pretty. Let's make that great for IELTS. I think normal's okay, but it doesn't quite, it is normal. It's maybe not normal for some people. I think it's common. Okay. Common for, you said Westerners. Um, we don't want to say Westerners. I think you were talking about specifically Vietnam and that. So maybe not maybe poor countries don't have this problem. Like you said, Vietnam doesn't have a lot of, most people don't have a credit card. So let's think of a word for like rich countries, maybe like maybe first world nations is good. Individuals in first world nations. Yeah, it's common for individuals in first world nations to owe a lot of money to these companies. To owe a lot of money. So I think a lot of is a little informal, not great. So we can make this better. What comes to your mind, Instructor Liam?
Yeah, first thing that comes to my mind is a lot, we can say substantial
Oh,
amount of money.
okay, substantial.
Or oh wait, yeah, I just think of a better word. More of a collocation, really. That is enormous sums of money.
Okay, enormous sums of money. Enormous sums of money to these companies. Today, however, it is common for individuals in first world nations to owe enormous sums of money to these companies. I think that's great. We've got some good words here. Individuals, first world nations, enormous sums to these companies. We've already mentioned the companies, so that's fine. And we've got the thesis statement. So there it is, guys. Using using our template, we've got a great introduction here with high-level words. Talks about the problem, the history of the problem, what it's like today, so we know what we're talking about. And then we talk about what we're going to do in this essay in the following paragraphs. We're going to expound on the implications of this issue before offering possible solutions. Okay, so we're going to talk about the causes and then the solutions. There it is. Great. Now let's get into body paragraph 1. Okay, this is where we're going to use our brainstorm. Okay, let's just make this easier to see. And there's a template in blue again. Right here goes the topic. Right here's cause 1 from the brainstorm, example 1 from the brainstorm, detail 1 from the brainstorm, cause 2 from the brainstorm, and example 2 from the brainstorm. So let's go back to our brainstorm. Let's plug and play this in here. We're dealing with the causes. Okay. This might not be pretty, but this is how I'm going to do it just to make things simple. So bear with me, guys. See how this works. Copy paste. So this was cause 1, fast-paced world. People are impatient. Cause 1 right there. Let's go ahead and boom, plug that in. Okay. Then we have example 1 and detail 1. Right here we get example 1. So the example is fancy, brilliant advertising. So let's let's throw that in there. Control V, boom, brilliant advertisements illustrates this. Boom, detail 1. Remember, we said you can just click one button, buy it now. That is that's a good detail about the effects of the advertisements. What is more, cause 2. They want large balances, interest, boom, right there. It's getting a little messy. Don't worry, guys. We're going to make this pretty. We're just throwing the information in there to show you how it fits right into the template. Then we're going to make it make sense, okay? Boom, boom. Obviously, this is not how you would do it on the test, right? You would be writing this out and looking at your brainstorm, okay? You'd already have the template memorized, okay? So this wouldn't be a problem. So let's look at this. Here we go. Right here, we have the topic. Get back on track here. Firstly, there are some blatant and obvious causes or consequences of. So I think causes is fine. Get rid of consequences. There are some blatant and obvious causes of the topic. So here's a little trick. We've already talked about this in the introduction, so they know what we're saying. So we don't have to get complex here. We can just say this problem. Okay, some blatant and obvious causes of this problem. Okay, to my mind, the most glaring is that we live in a fast-paced world and people are impatient, or people are impatient because it's a fast-paced world. So this is cause one. The most glaring is that. What do we have, Instructor Liam? What can we say? So in
Yeah.
is
We can
that
say in this fast-paced world,
okay?
uh, like
Impatience. So
immediate needs or
immediate gratification.
mm,
Yeah,
mm,
this means immediate gratification. That's a good one to know. Like people who can't wait to get something, like they need it now. Immediate gratification um, is possible with like the internet, right? It's immediate gratification is possible with the ease and convenience. Whoops, convenience. Whoa, of credit cards. Okay. See, that makes sense. To my mind, the most glaring is that in this fast paced world, immediate gratification is possible with the ease and convenience of credit cards. Okay, that makes sense. So that is cause one. Now we're getting into the, let's clean that up. We're getting into detail one and example one. Now pay attention here because this is important to note for the people who are above level 7, okay? So far, the template's been great. You probably wouldn't have to change it much, right? But when you're coming to this part of this specific template, if you are under level 7, keep it exactly how it is, okay? Blah, blah, blah illustrates this, something, something, okay? Now, if you're above a level 7, this is where you can get creative. So maybe your detail example doesn't quite fit into this sentence structure, okay? So you can modify it, okay? You can use the phrase illustrates this. It's a great phrase. You can use it differently, or you can just say it differently right here. This is a great example for you folks who are higher level to get creative, okay? But we're going to stick to the template. We're not going to get creative. We've memorized the template. Maybe we're a level 6, 6.5 or something. We want a 7. So we're going to stick to it, okay? So right here is where we're going to put the example, and we'll say this example illustrates this problem, and then we're going to give some detail to make our idea more clear, okay? So, Instructor Lamb, you said brilliant advertisements. So we can say, like, there's a lot of really good advertisements online, right?
right.
So the array of advertisements on social media or
Uh, or like
the
the multitude of ads, multitude is a good word to show
multitude
to
of
stress the huge amount of advertisements.
okay. The multitude of advertisements on social media, okay, illustrates this. Yeah. The myriad, the multitude of advertisements on social media illustrate this, comma. So that is the example. Let's get detailed into this. Like a lot of beautiful advertisements, they illustrate this problem. Um,
This is where you can use like a relative clause that would supplement your idea a bit clearer. So we can say, okay, we're talking about advertisements. Um, okay, featuring um, brilliantly designed images
okay. Featuring brilliantly designed images.
of what do people buy? Clothing, right? So I guess we can say the latest, most trendy apparel.
The latest trendy apparel. Yeah, I like that apparel. Um, okay, the multitude of advertisements on social media illustrate this, featuring brilliantly designed images of the latest trendy apparel. Um, and something about our idea here, you can buy at the click of a button.
Right, right.
which can be quickly or speedily purchased by clicking by the click of a button. By the click of a button. By the click of a button. That's kind of an idiomatic phrase there. That's great. Boom. All right, we're almost done, guys. Remember, we're almost done with the causes. We're going to get through this. Remember, you guys put in the idea for education. So we're going to lean on you guys when we get to that to come up with sentences for us. So start thinking about that now, okay? And when we get there, we'll have you plug it. We'll have you write those sentences with us. Throw them in the chat. If you don't remember the template right now, it's fine. What myself and instructor Liam can do, we can move forward and do the government solution we came up with, and then go back and you guys can fill in the template after seeing it. Okay. So let's keep going. What is more, credit card companies want large balances because they make money on interest. Okay. So what is more, credit card companies, they want large balances. They can't make you do it, but they can encourage. Encourage is a great word. And they encourage consumers specifically. That's a great word, kind of like our word shoppers, consumers. To have large balances, it's better to say to carry, because debt is like, it's a weight on your back, so you like carry it. So this is great language to use for debt. Credit card companies encourage customers to carry large balances. I think that's fine. Carry large balances. And pay only a minimum, right? A minimum every month. What is more, credit card companies encourage consumers to carry large balances and pay only a minimum every month. Okay. Make money on interest. We can get rid of that. I think we had an example about your friend where I think it kind of mentions that. So boom, there it is. What is more? This is our cause number 2. Credit card companies, they want it by design. They want you to carry large balances and they want you to pay the minimum every month. Get rid of that period. Boom, check that. So for instance, now we need the example detail. John owes 20,000, pays on interest per month. So let's make this a little bit more clear. There we go. For instance, John is our friend, right? My friend John.
Friend John
My friend John
owes over $20,000
Okay.
on his Visa card.
Okay. Let's say on one on one Visa card. Okay.
And he only pays $20
Okay. He only
per
pays
month.
20 bucks. He only pays 20 bucks
per month.
He only pays 20 bucks a month. Which now we need to put in the idea about, this is interest, right? He only pays 20 bucks a month, with much of that going to the companies to interest fees, which enlarging the profit of the bank. There we go. Nice complex sentence structure there. For instance, my friend John owes over $20,000 on one Visa card, and he only pays 20 bucks a month, with much of that going to interest fees, which enlarging the profit of the bank. There we go. There's our causes. You can see how the template fits right in there. and we use the brainstorm to kind of plug and play. Okay. So now we're going to move on to body paragraph 2, guys. This is where you're going to get involved. Okay. We're going to use the brainstorm that you guys came up with. Let's take a moment, look at the template here. Okay. This is the part that you guys are going to do right here. Okay. This is where our solution 1 goes, which was education, and example details 1, which was about education that you guys came up with. And then Struggling and myself will do solution number 2. So let's look at the brainstorm. Here we go. I'll copy and paste this for you guys. You can see it on the same screen with the templates. Make it easy for you guys. There we go. So go ahead, start throwing it in the chat. Stick to this template, but if you come up with something that makes sense and doesn't exactly use the template, like you get creative, if you're above a level 7 and you have something better you want to put here, go right ahead. If you want to stick to the template, go ahead. Just throw the idea. You see solution 1 there. You see example 1. Take your time. Think about it. Myself and instructor Liam, we're gonna try to quickly get through solution number 2. Okay. So while you guys have time to think about that, instructor Liam will be watching the chat as well to see your ideas. So go ahead, just throw out your education solution 1 and example in detail for it. Okay. We're going to get writing here on solution 2. Okay, so whatever they say, okay, we're going to get into solution 2. So furthermore, solution 2 is the government, the public service announcement. Okay.
Right. I guess we can mention the fact that the government can public statistics about the dangers of credit card debt.
Okay,
So
so
that
statistics. So like, furthermore, current statistics, you said about the dangers of credit card debts. What about it? Furthermore, current statistics about the dangers of credit card debt show something or
should be publicly addressed.
pub- publicly addressed, should be publicly addressed.
In government sponsored public service announcements. Yeah, right.
Okay, should be
A point is about PSA.
okay. Addressed in, you said, sorry, say that again, in public.
In government sponsored
Okay.
public announcement, public service
Yes,
announcement.
yes. Public, public service announcements. Okay, great. Okay, so that is the cause. Furthermore, current statistics about the dangers of credit card debt should be publicly addressed in government-sponsored public service announcements, such as, this is where we can put the example, which we had bankruptcy, such as, I got one, such as like bankruptcy could ruin your life. So there's a high level word here, such as the ruination of bankruptcy. Bankruptcy. Boom.
The ruination of bankruptcy. Yeah.
Yeah. High level word here. Something that can ruin your life, such as the ruination of bankruptcy. Okay, we got our idea here. Let me just double check it. Furthermore, current statistics about the dangers of credit card debt should be publicly addressed in government-sponsored public service announcements, such as the ruination of bankruptcy. Great. All right, everybody. Now it's your turn to show off. Time to show off.
Yeah, come on, guys. Anybody is writing about our first solution?
As to the viable solutions, I feel the most potent would be something something, which is courses for people to avoid debt, maybe in high school or before high school. More specifically, have budget classes on salary, bills, savings as part of the math curriculum. We can put it in there like that. If you guys don't have anything to add, we'll just do it like that. I'm not sure whose ideas this was. Is there anything in the chat?
No movement for now. All right, so
So let's do this. Okay. Budgeting classes in high school.
right. So as to the viable solutions, I feel the most potent would be to include budgeting classes.
Okay. To include budgeting classes
In we have math curriculum.
okay, in the math curriculum. Or that's kind of specific. So that will be like our example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So courses for people to avoid that in high school. Okay. In the, let's just say education, you said curriculum. Okay. That's a nice high level word. From in the education curriculum from like, we could say junior high on, or let's just say like from age 12 on. Okay. More specifically, now we want to talk about the math curriculum or budgeting classes, the details of this. So more specifically, as included in the math, instead of saying math, let's say like mathematics or mathematics. Whoops. Mathematics as included in the mathematics studies, which is kind of co-location for curriculum. We've already said curriculum. You could say students or pupils. Pupils is a good co-location for students, high level. Pupils should be like required to now we're getting into like what they're doing in the budget classes. They should be required to balance personal budgets or budgets, taking into account like salary, like we said, taking into account salary, getting real detailed here alongside various bills and like mortgage payments. You got to wrap it up here while managing to reach a monthly savings goal. A monthly savings goal. Oh, two M's there. Okay, a little bit more complex, but that's really detailed. Okay, so let's get rid of this. There we go. Body paragraph 2. Okay, we're almost done, guys. We got through that. We used your idea. Good idea. There's the template. There's our second body paragraph. Now let's get into the conclusion and then check this essay. So, like we said, conclusion's real simple. All you're going to do in sum, which is the same as like in conclusion, I maintain that. Now you state your position. Okay. So very simply, I maintain that credit card debt is like a danger to society, or we already use danger. Can you think of something like high level? Credit card debt is a
Perilous phenomenon. It's a good collocation.
perilous. Wow.
Perilous phenomenon.
Phenomenon. A perilous phenomenon. Wow, that's a
right.
great one. Perilous phenomenon, and but we're saying that it's dangerous, but it could be prevented. But could be prevented through proper education, right? That covers both our ideas because we gave an education solution, but even the government solution is public service announcements. So that's more education, right? So we don't have to say through education and government means. They're both education. In the future, I sincerely wish that, you know, people learn how to balance their budgets and don't get into credit card debt, right? I sincerely wish that people learn how to manage their finances in more appropriate ways. In the future, I sincerely wish that people learn how to manage their finances in more appropriate ways. There we go. We have our position and a hope for the future. End of essay. Bada bing, bada boom. So let's check this. Let's make it pretty so you guys can see it all. You can screenshot it. You can look at it later. Whatever you want to do. We're going to put it here. Just bear with me while I do all this editing to make it pretty. We're also going to check the word count and talk about the checking phase, okay? So let's just do this. I'll try to make it all fit on one screen. Hopefully you guys can see it easily. And we'll check the word counts. So checking phase. Boom, 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 boom. Bear with me here. Almost done. So there it is. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Boom, boom, boom. And guys, this took a lot longer than an hour, maybe. I didn't check the time. But remember, myself and instructor Liam, we're bouncing ideas so you can see like the thought process, okay? And you can follow along with us. When it's just you doing this, you're not gonna have to do that. It's gonna be a lot quicker. You control your thoughts. It's gonna go way faster than that. When you brainstorm, you're gonna be able to conceptualize these ideas and get them down a lot faster. You would have the template memorized. You would really be in the zone and doing this. You will have practiced this many, many times. So, it's not going to be like exactly what we just did, but it'll be close enough, right? So let's do our word count. 297. There we go. Right at that 300. Perfect. I really want you guys to see this on one screen. So I'm going to kind of lower the size of the text here so you guys can take a screenshot. Maybe I'll try to make it as big as possible to fit on one screen. So there it is. Go ahead, take a screenshot of that so you can review it later. That's the essay, guys. You saw us just do it live, using the template, using our brainstorming process, everything. So now is the checking phase, right? So in this checking phase, within 5 minutes, what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to check your spelling, okay? You're going to want to reread it, check your grammar, okay? Spelling and grammar. Make sure it's still logical. Make sure things make sense. Make sure, especially your grammar, guys. Remember, that's big for your score, okay? So this is where you would read it, make sure it's good, make sure all the ideas are connected, it's logical, it's believable, okay? So spend 5 minutes doing that. We're not going to do that now. I'm confident it's a good essay, okay? But always want to check 5 minutes, okay? And that's it, guys. Boom. We just wrote the essay together using our system. I hope you got a screenshot of that. We can throw it in the chat for you later on if anybody wants it. It looks like somebody screenshotted it. So
Yeah.
great.
Jackie Hui, thank you for that.
Yep. There you go. Hopefully that was really helpful to you guys. So now we're going to open up for the